Hi guys, Ashley here. Today I'm bringing you one phenomenal guest from JD ID. His name is Leo Haryono, and he is the Chief Marketing Officer of, as mentioned, Jingdong, Indonesia. Leo, welcome on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's phenomenal to have you here. Leo, very quickly introduce your long journey in e-commerce here in Southeast Asia. Tell us, how have you, after all those years working in a variety of companies in digital transformation and e-commerce, finally ended up with JD?
Yeah, so I actually started my e-commerce journey way back in 2003. So it's been a long time ago when I was with eBay, and then in my 18 years there, I've been doing several e-commerce brand and consumer tech. So I think that's super exciting. I think about 3 years ago, I moved back to relocated to Asia, Southeast Asia, and now ended up with JD. I see a lot of opportunity, and I think there's a lot of exciting thing that we can do to bring this up to the next level.
That's gorgeous. And you are responsible for Indonesian market. A lot of users and a lot of China watchers are also interested in Southeast Asia as a market. And many, I would say, experts in the industry, they see opportunities in Southeast Asia when it comes to learning from China in particular. But let's start with that. What is the state of Indonesian e-commerce right now in 2021? How would you describe it? You can tell us the story, the history, or just give us some hard facts. Where are we right now?
Yeah, so for those who don't know about Indonesia, so it's a big country with 270 million people. That is, and if you let me give you some journey on that. So two-thirds of the population is actually quite young. So it's post Gen Z, and millennials, and about 85% of the people have smartphone penetration. So there's a lot more people having their smartphones than having a credit card. Um, I think it's we see that the middle class is growing, and e-commerce is booming. As you know, with this pandemic, I think e-commerce has been growing rapidly, and I think in the next couple of years, I don't see this slowing down. So I think e-commerce is really booming. It's one of the area that has been growing rapidly in the region.
And that's very interesting because you've just now mentioned a few things. You've mentioned that mobile phone penetration is huge and e-commerce is booming, and obviously pandemic has boosted it all. And also Indonesia is a very young country. So this is probably one of the things that, in contrast to China, we are an aging society right now in China, and there's a lot of talk about silver-haired generation. But Indonesia is really young, and the adoption of technology is quite fast. When it comes to consumers themselves, what is your take on what are they buying and why are they buying on e-commerce? Is it convenience? Is it because it's cheaper? Is it because they are really digital generation and it's kind of cool to go through this digital means? Or is it really there's this merge of online and offline? So what are the reasons for people to buy?
Yeah, so before the pandemic, people buy online because there's a big discount. There's something that they don't get when they go to supermarket when they go offline stores. But with this pandemic, since last year, with this lockdown, shopping behavior become online first, right? They care about their safety, so and their purchase behaviors start to go into like their day-to-day usage. So like the groceries, buying fresh produce. People now buy that online first. While in the past, prior to the pandemic, it's mostly just lifestyle, maybe electronics with the deep discounts. So we see that shift of the online first. We also see that from our data that people are purchasing more and more. So comparing year on year, the average spend per purchaser has increased more than 50% at JDID, right? So we see people are purchasing more, and we also see during the double dates like the 10-10, 11-11, and 12-12, is just higher than the prior double dates. So we do see people are shifting from big ticket items into daily necessities when they buy online. And we do see that people are buying FMCG, groceries, mom and babies. Those are the top categories one of the top categories that we see what people are buying at JDID.
Very cool. You've just now mentioned, 11, 11, 12, 12, those double digit dates. Tell us more about it, because we definitely know that there is 618, in China, there's obviously 11, 11, there are CNY campaigns, and the whole, I would say, international brand community is looking forward to those dates, because very often for international brands in China, 40% of your turnover, yearly turnover, sometimes even more than that, is happening virtually on, let's say 11/11, and another 20% is happening over 618. So if you put these three big shopping festivals together, more than 60 or 70% of your bottom line is actually happening within these few short days. So what's happening in Indonesia? What are those festivals in Indonesia, and how are they performing? How important are they for brands?
Yeah, so I think Indonesia is a bit unique in a way. So I think of the majority of the population are Muslims. So the big shopping dates here in Indonesia is actually in the next month. So we have the Ramadan, and then we have the what we call a Lebaran, which is the Idul Fitri event. So that is where we see the surge of the shopping. So those are like the Chinese New Year, maybe in China. So I think in the next month or so, I think there'll be the peak of the shopping season here in Indonesia.
Peak shopping season is indeed coming. It's very interesting. And do you also have those let's say festivals, like for example JD back in China? We have, for instance, beginning of the year, and we have this in March, for instance. Yeah, it's women's festival, right? So every brand that wants to serve ladies is essentially promoting during that whole month, right? It's a special calendar that follows the happenings, the calendar happenings, and the purchasing kind of behavior scenarios. And then towards the end of the year, we are also, obviously in the West, we're talking about Christmas, but in China, we're talking about, let's say, big discounts, et cetera, et cetera. So do we have something like that, something where the industry is specifically boosted by the platform one or the other season?
So I think from JDID perspective, this month is special for us because it's our 5th anniversary, and we want to make sure that we are sharing with our customers. There are special deals that they will only get like once a year kind of thing. So it's a big thing for us. I think from the industry perspective, in corporate industry perspective, Indonesia, I think the big dates are obviously 12/12. It's not big. I think the term here we use is Harbolnas, Hari Belanja Nasional, which is the nation. I think it's an online shopping day. And it's like the equivalent of Black Friday in the US, or maybe Boxing Day in Australia. So I think that is our 12/12. And so yeah, I think we do have some of those festivals. I used to call it's a market share event. So this is where everybody just go all out, and I think consumer will have a lot of options on where they want to go to buy online. So that's very exciting.
That's cool. Now let's talk about who is selling online primarily. Let's talk about JD in particular. Is it the domestic brands or international brands that are dominating, that space? Because in China, when it comes to Jingdong, I think it's a healthy balance, but there's also a lot of international brands that are specifically choosing, JD worldwide, or they are choosing JD as the within the market as a platform to enter China, especially in 3C category. So what's happening on JD in Indonesia?
Yeah, we have quite a balance of a global brand and also China brand from China, and also like a local brand. The JD ID, we support the government initiative to support local produce and local products and local delicacies. So we continue to work with them and expand this selection there. But I think overall, I would say customer can find anything on JD ID. We do, we do keep a high bar, so it has to be a high quality products. We live and breathe authenticity. So the product has to be original, authentic products, which I think is aligned with what JD.com in China has. But aside from that, we want to make sure that we're always looking at the customer purchase behavior. If there are any things that they're purchasing that we don't have, they want to make sure that we have it for them, right? We make it available for them to buy. So assortment is very key, but we also want to make sure that we keep the bar high quality products, authentic products. Those are something that still stays true to our DNA.
That's beautiful. And let's talk about the whole landscape, e-commerce landscape, because obviously, Jingdong is not the only player in the market. And I would be very interested to learn who is there in the market right now when it comes to e-commerce. And then through it, we want to also understand what is JD's unique selling point or unique positioning. As you said, authenticity is a very big part of it. But let's look at the whole industry first.
Yeah, so I'm a big believer that competition breeds innovations. So it's good to always look out with to see what others are doing. But I think some of the I think the e-commerce landscape in Indonesia has a mix of some of the regional player. So those are like the Shopee, the Lazada of the world, and some of the local player like the Tokopedia and Bukalapak, and now we have with JD. So I think those are the top brands that people have that people tend to shop based on some of the external research data. Where's our unique value propositions? So I touched on earlier. So we have this hashtag we call Dijamin Ori, which is authenticity guarantee or guarantee for original products. This is something that we used when we started 5 years ago. And we coined the items, we coined the term, sorry, pause. Okay, so we coined the term, and it's something that is already in our DNA, and it's something that we are, I think if you talk to consumers here in Indonesia, and you ask them like what is the word that you think of when you think of JD ID, they will say Dijamin Ori. So people love us for that hashtag. So I think that will be our unique selling propositions. Second thing is I think JD ID has a huge potential. We have the trifecta when we look at the customers. We have a trifecta of solving their pain point. So anyone who want to purchase a products, consumer always looking at three things. One is, do they have the products that I want with the price that is competitive? Second is it easy for me to buy, whether I want to buy online and offline? So, and the third is, when I purchase it, will I get it on time and will I get it fast, right?
Yeah.
So that is on the customer perspective. So now let me frame it from JD perspective, right? So I talk about on the product side, we have the high bar of always have high quality products and always authentic products. You'll never find fake products at JD.
Yeah.
So that's one. Second is with our O2O initiative, we have offline presence in Indonesia. We have online presence. They can buy through the app, to the web. So I think it gives the customer a lot of options and choice for them to shop with us. And lastly, I think when it comes to logistics, we have I think we make a lot of investment in the logistics, in the end-to-end last mile delivery, that in some of the big cities like Jakarta and the vicinity area, I think most of the items that you purchase, most of the time you get it the next day. So like fast delivery, that those are the promise that we are keeping with the customers.
And it's only in big cities or across the country? Because Indonesia obviously is a huge country, and in China, what I think multiple players were able to achieve is that it's really like sometimes 30-minute delivery, sometimes same day, sometimes second day. But the expectation is that this logistics and supply chain are essentially working together to make sure that the customer is getting the product super quickly. So has that already been achieved in Indonesia?
Yes, definitely. So obviously we start with the big cities where most of the volume is coming from. But I think during the past few years, excuse me. During the past few years, we have expanded to expanded our warehouse, from the west side to the east side of Indonesia. So we
Wow.
continue to grow our footprint and continue to grow our logistic capabilities within the country.
Yeah. And in China, what sets JD very often apart is the fact that we have our own storage. We have our own, we purchase the products and we essentially retail them and sell them. And we make sure that we are handling this kind of supply chain, right? So is Indonesia running using the same model? So the delivery, is it done through a third party provider, or let's say storage, supply chain, etc., is also done through a third party provider, or is it kept in-house? How's it built?
I think in terms of logistics, I think our primary focus is to bring end-to-end shopping experience to the end customers. So starting from warehouse, drop points, couriers, customer service, after sales. So I think we work with. I mean, obviously we want to learn from the success that we have with JD.com China, and leverage it to Indonesia. So I think there's a lot of similarity on. So we always learn from the global team on what's the best way to improve our logistics services. But at the same time, we want to tailor that to the complexity of Indonesia. We have thousands of islands, and and they are not. So I think we want to make sure that strategy is also we tailor that to the situation that we have in Indonesia.
Absolutely. So when it comes to the last 5 years, JD has been in Indonesia for the last 5 years. What are the main highlights? How is it going, in other words? As you said, it's a competitive market. The consumers are young. E-commerce is booming. And, there are other innovative companies in the market doing some things. And consumers are so new to it all that they are willing to try a variety of things. So how has it been going in the past 5 years? What are the major highlights? And later we're going to talk about the plans for the future.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think so what we have accomplished for the last 5 years, I think number one is JD ID is one of the 6 unicorn in Indonesia. We are the top e-commerce sites in Indonesia, based on traffic, based on GMV. I mentioned about Dijamin Ori, that tagline, authenticity guarantee, has become what people love from our brand. So so that become a reality. I think people live and breathe that words now, and I think that raised the bar on people's expectation when they shop e-commerce. I think that's good. The reliable express delivery. So in Jakarta and the vicinity area, 98%, almost 100% of your items that you purchase will be delivered within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So that's a big promise. And I think if you look at nationwide, outside Jakarta, about 85% of the order is being fulfilled within 24 hours. It's been delivered within 24 hours, right? I think in terms of assortment, we have a mix of exclusive brand partnership, launch and promos. I think that brings a strong assortment that people can only get at JD and not anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I know you like some numbers, so maybe let me share with you some numbers.
I would love to. I would love to see numbers. Yes.
So how we compare, our 5-year results, right? So people who register at JD in 2020 is now is 40 times higher than what it used to be in 2016.
Whoa.
Right. The orders that we receive in 2020 is about 50 times of what we have 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So and not only that, people that come to our site every single day, our daily active user is now about 15 times higher than what it used to be 5 years ago. So we know that there's a lot more people checking out our app and looking at all the deals and finding all the high quality products. So that's really I would say encouraging to see that. And of course our because we are mostly done on app, so our app downloads and app activities increase about 10 times higher than what it was about in 2016. So those are some of the numbers.
Very, very cool. And I'm just looking at some of the numbers that you've also sent me earlier today. I see that there are 400,000 SKUs indeed on JD.com right now in 23 categories. And as you've mentioned multiple times, this no fake guarantee is definitely there. And home appliances, apparel, audio, cameras, etc., are essentially being really, really big. Furniture as well. I'm looking at it just now. Computers, games, phones, and mother and baby, like basically all these beautiful categories, very similar to China, I would say, in many ways. Before we go into what are your plans for the future, I really would like to learn a bit more about the local consumers. Still, tell me a bit more about their, maybe something quirky, maybe something interesting about their purchasing behavior, about some of the categories, like something unusual or something that is a trend. Maybe we can cover 5 trends of what Indonesian consumers right now in 2021 are expecting and looking for when it comes to e-commerce. What are they buying? How are they buying? All of that is extremely interesting, and I would absolutely love to learn.
Yeah, so I don't know if I have the quirky trends, but let me share with you the trend that we're seeing right now. So I think number one, I think people become with this online shopping first. People now buy their groceries online. I mean, it's actually it's quite interesting. It's very interesting actually, because Indonesia, we have like this local wet market that people go and shop, and now they're comfortable buying their groceries, all their daily necessities online. So I think that's obviously a really interesting trend. We are now in the Ramadan season, so we see a lot of like people buying clothing, groceries, electronics, just to celebrate the festive. So I think we see a lot of that surging demand on that. What else? Smartphone has, I mean, smartphone continue to be like one of the top categories that people are purchasing. And it's exciting that they trust JD ID, and they're comfortable in purchasing that high big ticket items from our app. So I think that's really encouraging there. And another thing is, I think in the one of the category that is surging, I think it's gaming. So I think with the pandemic and people stay at home and work from home, I think people game a lot. So we do see a lot of demand on laptops, a lot of demand on gaming peripherals, the headset, the headset, keyboard, and mice. It's also like growing rapidly.
Oh, that's very interesting. Indeed, the pandemic is digitizing the whole world, and Indonesia, again, as part of Southeast Asia, is such an exciting market with young population, and obviously a lot of things that can be borrowed from the China journey, right? Because I think where we started, the starting point of Chinese consumers a couple of years back, and where the Indonesian consumers have been and also are going, easy to adapt, new technology, just like, as you mentioned, groceries, right? In China also, everybody was buying groceries in the wet markets, but through the pandemic, even older people, the ones that are 60, 70, 80 years old, would actually use an app right now to purchase groceries. So a lot of those journeys, a lot of learnings, I see a lot of parallels between the two markets. And I personally believe that a lot of this new retail insight on boundaryless retail, right, that's happening, the merge of online and offline, the model that China has and is perfecting ongoingly, building those ecosystems, it in fact is going to manifest itself best in Southeast Asia before anywhere else in the world. So it's incredible. So what's next? What are the next 5 years for JD are going to be focused on?
Yeah, so our next plan, I think number one, we should continue to provide best and trusted, reliable service to our customers, and continue to maintain high quality products, the Dijamin Ori hashtag, continue to live and breathe that. In addition, I think we want to make sure that we continue to grow our assortment into more categories and work with more brands, domestic and local. So that's number one. Just really solve their pain point. Just looking at what they are purchasing, and then try to make sure that we have it for them to purchase. Second is, I think JD ID will remain focused on improving our platform, and all the way from our app, our warehouse, our logistics, and the after sales support. I think that's very key. We want to act as we want the platform to act as enabler for international brand and for local brands to be able to grow and use our platform to serve the end customers. So I think number two. Third one is, I think, we want to continue to build capabilities, because the customer experience will change, their preference will change. So we want to make sure that we adapt to that. So we need to continue to listen to them and talk to them and get their feedback. And whether it's on assortment, it's on logistics, it's on their customer service, and we want to use that to really grow the next 5 years of plan. So I think those are something that we want to grow.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. And I think lastly, I think O2O is interesting, online to offline expansion. So I think it's something that as we think about our online and offline, I think it's something that we have to continue to keep in mind, because that really make it much more convenient for the customers.
So to summarize all that, making sure that the promise of high quality, fast delivery and great product assortment is there. Number two, keep developing SKUs and bringing even more high quality products on the platform. Number three, building that ecosystem and incorporating all these new elements into ecosystem because the market is changing so fast. Reacting to those changes is of course important. And finally, making sure that there is a merger between online and offline when the market is ready. Well, that sounds like a very exciting plan indeed, and really well done. I will continue watching what's happening with Indonesian e-commerce market and how the consumers are reacting and changing. And I think what's very interesting is, to see JD thriving in Indonesia, because there may be this perception that at this stage, Indonesian consumers might want to just go for bulk or, cheaper discounts and and they might not care about quality that much or authenticity that much. But by JD being there and being successful, it kind of proves it wrong, right? That assumption is wrong, because quality, end of the day, always wins, especially when there's growing middle class. What's your take, Leo?
I totally agree. I think, to me, I think discount is something that you do to get people to get to your door. If you look at the offline retail experience, so discount is something that to get people to your app. But as they purchase from you, people start thinking about the quality, reliability. Do I get it on time? Do I get it fast? Do they have quality products? So I think for them to keep coming back, you have to work on these basics. Right. I mean, this is just what customers want, and so I think with our Dijamin Ori, with our logistics, so those are all the things that will make sure that people continue to love our brand and continue to shop and interact with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leo. It was very interesting and insightful. I right now know definitely a lot more about Indonesia, Indonesian consumers, the local festivals when it comes to e-commerce, and the local players as well. It was, very, very cool. I do wish JD a lot of success in the market for the next 5 years to achieve and overachieve its goals as well. Guys, if you would like to connect with Leo for any opportunities in the Indonesian market, please do that through his LinkedIn. I'm going to drop the link to his LinkedIn profile at the bottom here. And meanwhile, I hope that you guys have also learned quite a bit. There's a lot of tech giants in China that are going outside of the country. And very often they're going to places like Southeast Asia and Africa first before bringing their technology and operations into, let's say, Europe or North America. So let's keep watching how Chinese tech giants are building this future of global retail outside of China as well. well. And Indonesia might be a great example to learn and see that in action. Thank you so much, guys. Stay tuned for more China experts to come. And Leo, thank you again for being with me today.
Thank you, Ashley. We appreciate it. Take care.